my name is Jalen Green, and I'm with the Nocturnal, and I'm so excited to talk about The Young Wife with both of you today. So I think I'm going to start with Kiersey. Your character that you play in this film was absolutely amazing. I felt like myself that I could relate to her a lot. And I just wanted to know, what was it like taking on this role and really getting into character?
It felt very natural at the time. I really was going through a lot that I think was useful for Celestina, but also I found a lot of healing um, in being able to be her. And also I found a lot of healing in being surrounded by the people that I was working with, to be honest. We all got really close, and I felt like people were holding space for me, and everyone on set working on it was so passionate. And that always, regardless of where I am in life, will really ground me, and it always allows me to really focus in on what's important and what matters to me. And honestly, like, making things really matter to me. Um, it- Very much so. I am really, really happy and content when I'm in a space surrounded by people who um, want get the same feeling out of creating things that I do.
Absolutely. And watching the film, you could see that it was just very intimate because that was my next question was about, the cast. How was it like working with everyone? Because the scenes, again, they just seemed very intimate and very close. So,
Yeah, we shot in a very small house, too small, many would say. Many people on the crew would tell me every day that the house was too small to be shooting there. And they were right. But it really helped the feeling. You have just everybody was right on top of each other out of necessity. Um, but I think that it was honestly, no matter where we shot, I think that it's like an environment that I really try to cultivate on set, and not just on set, but really like amongst like the crew from the very beginning. Like as soon as we start talking about working together, there's an environment that I'm trying to foster between us of like collaboration. And I think it's something that I think of when I think of like being a high school theater student. It makes me feel like that. So
yeah.
I'm always trying to like create that feeling in the professional, like whatever art we're making professionally together. And so I think that the right kinds of people just gravitate towards that. So it's very much a process of self-selection as well.
Yeah, of course. And I saw that you said you wrote this during the pandemic. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, it's wild. I don't really think about that much anymore, even though it very much is a product of like living through a global pandemic and worldwide shutdown. I think that experience made me, and I think it made all of us, I think we can see that it made all of us reprioritize. And it made me so much more aware of what the point of like being alive was. It was just to be around the people that you want to be around. Like that's the point. The point is to have as much time as possible to be with the people who you consider your community. That's it. To just like cultivate community and strengthen it, to grow it, to like feed back into it. That's the point. Anything past that is just like extra. It's sauce on top. So I feel like that's what the movie is really about. It's about how it's okay to abandon the things that you thought you were supposed to care about in pursuit of other things. So long as you got the support of your community, you can do anything. And yeah, I think that's what that's a lesson that I'm still learning, but I think that was the most immediate lesson I got out of that pandemic period. The need to cultivate community, the need to like be true to your community.
I think it's just really cool because I think a lot of people during the pandemic, we all found ourselves, doing things. And the fact that you said you wrote this during the pandemic and you have this beautiful film, like visually, it's absolutely stunning. So I just think it's really cool that from the pandemic, we have this really cool movie.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that it's something that like to the whole crew and everything, like when we were building the looks of the wardrobe, the looks of the, you know, the cinematography of the set, of everything, we just kept saying over and over post-pandemic maximalism. Like if you're locked up and you have no access to, or you're locked up emotionally, you're locked up physically, and you need, once you have a, or once you're free out of that, you're going to gravitate towards everything that gives you like hits of dopamine. And so visually, we very much tried to like throw um, as many dopamine hits at the screen as possible, with the purpose of, or tied to the purpose of just like satisfying that lack that we were all feeling during the pandemic.
Absolutely. And Kiersey, what do you hope people take away from your character when they see her? Like, what do you hope they resonate with this character?
Um, I whatever feeling they need to really like get off their chest. I don't, nothing in particular. Um, I took a lot away from Celestina, so I would want that for everybody else.
Yeah, awesome.
I can't tell them. You never can.
Yeah, yeah, this is so true. And then I was just wondering when, when people watch the film, I love the moments of your characters when she was having panic attacks, and there was these constant moments when she would just breathe and everything would just like come back, to life to her, I guess, in a way. And I think visually that was done very, very well. Like you could feel, in a sense, her having the panic attack and then her, breathing in and out to come back.
I think what helped was, being in the tiny house.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I had that sweater on the whole time. Um, and it was very hot and humid in
Mhm.
there.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, and all the people. I feel like we really just captured kind of what was really going on. I think even in feeling like I really wanted to be with everyone when I would see them like outside having a good time, but it was just me on camera and this in whatever that scene was. And I'd be like looking out, waiting to like get away and be like, what are you guys laughing about?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
someone's like, Kiersey, and I'm like, I'll be right back. Just don't story yet. I
Yeah.
go out to do the scene, and then
Yeah.
someone's like, can you come here? Oh, we're gonna do this. Can you come do this? And so I guess I kind of also took that as well.
Like I could feel it. It was very much I knew what was happening. So I just wanted
It's
to
all
understand that.
breathing, and also your body, once you get that breathing going, your body knows, right? You don't, a lot of times we have people, a lot of times you will have a panic attack over the fear of having a panic attack, which is so silly. What are we doing?
Yeah.
Because we know that it's so out of our control, and that panic attack normally is something that you're not even, you don't think that you're thinking about. It's just in your body. And so there was one night that after we wrapped, I, it was actually, I remember I was peeing and I was like, I was sitting there thinking, and I was like, whoa, I can't breathe. And I like took off my shirt and I'm
Yeah.
like sitting there and I'm like, oh my God, whoa, I'm like not feeling so great.
Yeah.
And I'm in this, it's not like I'm at home and I have my car and I can get up and drive or walk around or whatever. And so I'm like pacing around this hotel room, and then I'm like, whew, I'm gonna walk around the hotel. But at the same time, I was afraid that I was gonna run into someone
Yeah.
and then have to do the whole thing of like, hey, what's up? No, I'm just vibing out, whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm like circling, going kind of crazy. And I think I called John. John I called, which is so funny considering our characters. What's John's character's name again? Dave? Did I make that up? Did
No,
I just choose a white guy's
oh,
name?
that's right. That's true.
Yeah.
And so I call John, and it's because I had watched John have a panic attack like a week before. So I
Oh,
was like, he owes me.
yeah. That's the least we can do.
Yeah. And I was like, I'm freaking out right now. And so, anyways, the next day, I was telling Judith about it. And she was saying how every night after work, I should always, no matter what project I'm doing, go home and take a bath and wash it off of me
Yeah.
because our bodies don't know the
Mhm.
difference. You know,
Really don't.
actors who are going method, you don't need to do that. Your
Really
body
don't.
already, you don't have to do that. Your body really doesn't know the difference between if you have really been, if your character's really angry, like you've really been angry the last few days or very anxious or not saying what you want to say. And so for that one day, I did have that feeling of like claustrophobia and just pent up feelings and energy that I needed
Yeah.
to get out,
Well, it
and
came out good on film, on
Oh, it
screen.
looked great, right?
Yeah, it looked amazing.
oh,
Came across really well. No, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
That's such a good point. Yeah.
For Tyresha, I had a question for you. What is something that you hope people in general as a whole take away from this film?
I'm trying to say something different every time, anytime, because it's such a
I
good
know.
question. I want
Yeah.
to say something new every time. There's so much to take away.
Yeah.
Something that I hope people take away. I think that there I think that sometimes when the world is like spiraling out of our control, the world is never in our control, first of all, but
Yeah.
like when the whole world feels like it's absolutely spiraling out of our control and spiraling out of our control in a negative direction, I think that we have a tendency to isolate as a means of like protection, like you just throw the shield up, like at the very least, I have to protect like this house that is my body and myself. Um, but I hope that in watching this project, and I really hope that people can take away that it's so important in those moments where you feel you the need to isolate. It's so important to not isolate. It's so important to instead turn outward to other people and to say, hey, I need help. Like, hey, I need you. Hey, I need something. Like, I need to like talk about what's going on inside of me. I find that you'll find that a lot of people are feeling the same way as you, and also need to talk about it. And then B, you'll find that like the terrifying feeling, the panic, the fiery, like I don't know what to do, everything is spiraling kind of feeling. I find that it like calms down.
Yeah.
So I think that that's what this movie is about, how turning outward instead of inward like helps the storm quiet down, and that's actually the solution instead of like trying to hold tight to the reins of control, is to like let go.
Yeah, absolutely. And I totally agree with that because I think sometimes we just think like it's just us going through something. And there's something about like a calmness when you realize, someone else is going through it and you're like, oh, it's
That's like
okay.
also
We're all going through
cool.
it,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh my
Yeah.
God, I love that feeling. I'm
Yeah.
addicted to that. That's literally why I make movies, because I'm like, there's no way I'm the only person who feels like that. Let
Yeah.
me make a movie, and then everybody else is gonna have to admit they feel it too.
Yeah.
Rather than like talk to people, I make a
That's
movie.
literally what college is. I think that's what we all
Yeah,
experienced.
totally, totally.
Well, that was really all my questions. I thank you so much for both of you talking to me, and I wish you guys, the best with your premiere of The Young Wife.
thank you.
Yeah, of course.